Army says it has foiled a coordinated assault by Islamic State West Africa Province, ISWAP, on a military base in Mallam Fatori, Borno State on the 18th of March. That was yesterday, reportedly killing at least 80 fighters. Well, this reflects a significant operational success. Analysts note that the broader security situation remains volatile, with insurgents concurrently launching deadly suicide bombings in the Maiduguri and district and overrunning other bases in the region. To speak more about this is global security consultant and criminologist Dr. Diyeli Aigbe. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us, Dr. Aigbe.
Thank you very much. Such a sweet voice. It's a great privilege listening to your voice live on radio.
I think many would argue with you. This is my flu voice, but thank you for the encouragement. Dr. Aigbe, is it a fair comment to say that this is a huge operational success? And I'm saying that given the backdrop of the number of offensives that have been launched against communities, especially in the Borno State.
Yes, we never expect. I don't know if you're aware. There was on Monday precisely, and there was an attack in the about 3 centimeters attack in the use of ICD provides a explosive device to attack most of the populated areas in Borno State, in Maiduguri itself, and people were killed during the day towards the Ramadan break fasting, and people went to the market, were killed, and in the teaching hospital too were killed simultaneously. So it's so sad that the military is not reacting now. It's proactive, able to, assuming they were very, very proactive, they were able to mitigate that attack, and that sent the wrong signal. And the president, who is on the state visit to Britain, has given an order that all these commanders should go to Maiduguri to give that order this order he gave that they should move down to Maiduguri to mitigate that crisis. So maybe they are responding to the president's order now, responding to it. But I don't see that as being reactive now, because lives have been lost there. Innocent Nigerians were lost, and it was they target the vulnerable spots of the populace, of the civilians, And this is the Ramadan, the end of Ramadan now. And that part of the region is very religious, and they took advantage of that vulnerability to strike, and lives were lost. And when I look at the footage of those who were killed, those was very horrific. And you can't just behold that these are human beings, So the military are just being reactive now, instead of being proactive now. So it's so sad, but it's a good one for the military, trying to boost the morals of the military is up to the task to mitigate this. And at this point, they will not. But this jihadist group are getting external support. So we talked about, interagency collaboration, and that DS is one of those agencies in Nigeria that are very good in terms of intelligent gathering. But I think they should be able to work together to form that synergy to help the law enforcement agency. But there's battle fatigue in the military now. They're strained our law enforcement agency, the military now. So I think they should form that synergy. It's part of the action plans of trying to mitigate the terror group. We talk about interagency collaboration in agency and strategic communication. So maybe they're keen to that now. They should be able to follow that through that line of rule of engagement, of forming that strategic communications, not just leak out information like that, and let it be strategic, and let it be able to boost the morals of Nigerians, that the militaries are up to the task to mitigate this insurgent group. But we talked about it previously that. We need stakeholder engagement. Just use the military kinetic approach alone. Non-kinetic approach to go a long way. The stakeholders engagement, community engagement, it will go a long way. Of a traditional ruler should be involved in this to mitigate this, and it will go a long way. Usually, just using military approach alone, because battle fatigue will come in, and lives of soldiers will be. But we can see now that the bandits or the insurgent group are very audacious in their act and using technology. And they're very, very proactive in their intelligent gathering. You can see how they were to use the IEDs and using women as a suicide bombers. In number of expected especially in Africans, especially Nigerians, that they think have this narrative or this perception that Nigerians are fearful, and that they're using women now. We not suspect them using as a suicide bomber to kill people And we could see the effect now, which is happening now.
And I want to ask, what is the litmus test of the superiority of not only the intelligence gathering, but in terms of the military tactics and might of these insurgent groups? While the army claimed victory in Mallam Fatori, the reports indicate that to the 80 that they claimed to kill, 65 soldiers were also killed.
So it's so sad. You can see the numbers too. It's almost proportionate with what the killings of the insurgents. So imagine 65 soldiers of well-trained officers through the money resources have gone down the drain for that. I just hope they will give them a befitting burial, and their dues and the insurance cover will be paid as swiftly as possible, so to mobilize, to motivate the other soldiers to work. Because if they discover that most of their colleagues are not they're not giving a befitting burial, and their pension or their gratuity or maybe their insurance cover is not being paid, it will demoralize them. So it's so sad. And we talked about technology will help us a lot, because we have one of the advantages the Nigerian military has is the airways, the Air Force can use the Air Force to be able to smoke out all these people. But I know the reluctance of the government and the ability to turn intention into action has been very dismal. And even though the president giving that order, I think most of them, they will be feet dragging in going to that region to fight that insurgency. So I think we should use technology to block our borderline. Our borderline is very porous. And because we have this joint tax that has been, there's this breakaway of this joint tax force, regional tax force in Chad, Cameroon, and Mali, and because of the military rule in Mali and Burkina Faso and other some part of West African region, that accord, that joint tax force has been dismantled, and is giving these bandit audacious acts to come in and the guerrilla warfare, to attack and return back to base. And I think if we can be able to smoke them out, use non-kinetic approach, deconstruct the minds of the clergies are very powerful tools you can use there to construct the minds of the people. Just using military force alone and just spending money on that. So it's a very long way of helping collaborating civil military relationship within the stakeholder with community engagement. It's a very long way of helping.
Let's talk money and how it's used, because the army attributed the air support for its success, and I'm just wondering, is it as a result of the arrival of that 100 U.S. troops who are in Nigeria for technical support, but also most importantly, strategically, how does this work? This is the same country that has threatened to bomb Nigeria because of what it sees as religious killings. So when you sit down, I know they say my enemy's friend is my friend, but how does it work? Do you trust the intelligence that you're getting and also the strategy?
Look, the president was very, very strategic in order to be on the side of Donald Trump. Donald Trump can be very erratic. You cannot predict his behavior. And the government were very strategic, and instead of playing politics, they were now, because they didn't want to escalate it to under his watch, the military attack Nigeria, one of the giants of Africa. Military force is one of the best in Africa. And America, if they have escalated it or not managed that crisis well, American would have just be what Iran is facing now, and to be a bad image to the president. He's going for re-election in 2027, so he knows the opposition parties, opposition leaders will use that against him. That under his watch, we have military mission, and that has both the bad now or it's as if they're seeing America as the Christian country coming to attack a Muslim country. The response of this Israeli and American attack on Iran, there was mass protest in Abuja and some other part of the northern region, respond to that. So maybe that response is making the insurgents group now tend to be very audacious and trying to angry them, embolden them to attack, because they have an insider threat already. So, but I want to applaud the Tinubu government too, because they know if they don't get it right, they have to placate the president, American president, that no, this is not where everybody is being killed. Let us collaborate. So probably pointing fingers, and you could see the effect of it. So the American government had to see reason with it. There could be American president is a good negotiator too. Maybe there's something that negotiate. Okay, I don't want to. Buhari is a political winning machine. You don't like Hugo Chavez of Venezuela. He knows how to do a politics, a part of politics. So he was able to say, okay, he knows Donald Trump has the interest in Nigeria. It's okay, what do you want? And that, don't talk about Christian genocide. Now let's talk about collaboration now.
All right,
You
just
can
to
see the effect now.
let's
You know,
round off and talk
Donald Trump is not even
about.
talking about that now. He's talking, okay, let us work together and solve the problem. So the president was very strategic about it, and able to manage it well, so they do not. The opposition will not keen to that and make the government look weak and vulnerable.
Okay, so let's round off and very briefly, please. President Tinubu in the UK at the moment, you spoke about the funding of the insurgents, and I want to look at, tit for tat, so to speak, what is available in terms of military hardware on both sides. Do you think President Tinubu might look to the UK for some, aid package just in terms of military reinforcement to fight the insurgency, given the fact that they are talking about improving trade, and you can't have a booming economy with the level of insecurity that Nigeria has at the moment?
Yeah. Yes, that's what is trending now. Just latest security situation in Nigeria now, and the President Tinubu is in UK now, talking with the King Charles, and part of it is our security from that collaboration. He knows the importance of it because the election is coming 2027. If he doesn't get that right, people don't want to come up. There's an apathy of people coming to vote, and you don't want to be a signal to the government. So it's part of his agenda now with the UK. I'm applauding for that. Not just go there for pleasant and pandatory, but he's trying to look at, no, you cannot think of election when there is insecurity, and the opposition can cling to that and it can escalate. So he's very careful about. So it's one of these point of agenda there in the UK to forward that collaboration. We need that. We cannot do that alone, but we have the personnel. But we know that in security, you can see that European allies, the EU, the NATO, and with spite of American might, they still have to form that synergy with the Europeans, with NATO, to form that synergy. Even Russia too, because you cannot isolate yourself in international security matters. You have that collaboration, and that's what the president is trying to do now. So I want to applaud him for that taking that move by the horn. And people are watching, and he needs to get it right because 2027 Nigeria is standing for the election period.
We're going to have to end it here, I'm afraid, Dr. Aigbe. Dr. Diyeli Aigbe is a global security consultant and criminologist, just talking to us about Nigeria's military operation in warding off insurgents. We've been looking at the northeastern part of Nigeria, but of course this is all over the country, and the Nigerian president on an overseas trip to the UK, and he has been in talks with US President Donald Trump. Brings the time to 25 minutes past 9.